Although it is said that stillness is precious, in the Brown family, silence has turned into the most deadly weapon. The rumors have reached us. The Instagram shade has been examined by us. And for years, we have been seeing Kody Brown's patriarchy's slow-motion car wreck. However, nothing, and I mean nothing, will get you ready for this week's tales from Salt Lake City. Picture the scene. The holiday season is at its peak right now. Families are congregating. The decorations are up, and the snow is falling. Now consider mailing a Christmas present to your daughter, whom you haven't really tried to see in months, only to discover the same box, unopened, on your doorstep 3 days later with a note that completely upends the dynamics of your family. We are examining the history of the Christmas boycott today. We are delving deeply into the purported instance in which Truly Brown, the most subdued witness to the family disintegration, ultimately made the most audible declaration. Was Kody's present actually returned to Flagstaff by her? Did she genuinely pen the message that ruined Robyn's vacation? And why is the McMansion going into complete meltdown over a picture of David Woolley? Get your tea because the little girl has grown up and isn't playing around. However, I need you to do something for me before we dig into the ruins of this Christmas catastrophe. Click the like button now if you genuinely support the women in this family and are proud of them for finally speaking up. It communicates that we are observing. Additionally, make sure you have a TLC Flicks subscription with the bell notification enabled if you want to be the first to know when the next bomb drops from Flagstaff. Here, we're creating a community that recognizes the gaslighting. So get on board and let's get started. We can't just focus on this week's events to comprehend the scope of this return package. We must return. This insurrection did not occur in a vacuum, so we must comprehend the ghost of Christmas past. This was more than just a girl in her teens acting out. This was a planned reaction following years of disregard. We must discuss the Dark Age. We must discuss the COVID Christmas and the complete despotism that Kody Brown imposed on his family while claiming to be protecting them. Do you recall the guidelines? Do you recall the typed-up set of rules that resembled a jail handbook rather than a family contract? This is the background that we must keep in mind. Control has always been the currency of Kody Brown's operations. His love is a trade in his thinking. You obey him. You worship him. And he gives you his presence in exchange. However, the deal is nullified as soon as you challenge the rules and inquire as to why the nanny is permitted over but your own siblings are not. Remember those times when Truly was younger. It was usually her who was perceptive. Truly was observing while Kody was frantically trying to control 4 families. She noticed the difference. She saw her dad was at Robyn's place all the time. She saw that while the restrictions were unbreakable for her and Isabel, they appeared to be flexible for Saul and Ari. Being the child who is physically present but emotionally invisible causes a certain type of trauma. When Kody attempted to teach her how to ride a bike, we witnessed it. It had nothing to do with her education. He was acting like a parent in front of the cameras. It was a tense situation. It was disorganized. And in the end, he made it about his annoyance rather than her accomplishment. That is their relationship's starting point. Let's fast forward to the present. Kody Brown recognizes he is losing control as he sits in his house with fictitious servants, surrounded by artwork he spent thousands of dollars on, and surrounded by a woman who perpetuates his victimization. There are issues with the text threads. The loyalty requirements aren't being met. What, therefore, does a narcissist do when they sense that their supply is running low? They attempt to repurchase it. We now arrive at the package. Insider rumors and reports indicate that Kody and Robyn prepared a peace offering for Truly this year. But let's be honest about what Kody Brown's peace offering looks like. Rarely is it a personal matter. Seldom does it demonstrate that he is aware of his daughter's true identity. Usually, it is a resource display. It's a flex. Kody thought this present would function as a summoning spell, according to the idea circulating on fan forums and the leaks from those close to the family. He believed that if he sent a box containing the Shira Chateau's return address, Truly would be so appreciative that she would forget the years of neglect. He assumed she wouldn't remember that he wasn't present during her surgery. He assumed she wouldn't notice that he had forgotten how old she was. He acts as though he is still the patriarch, the sun that all of these planets revolve around. However, he overlooked a very important element. Is in fact Christine's daughter. More significantly, Truly has been residing in a home where fatherhood is modeled in a positive way. Her focus has been on David Woolley. Since the contrast is the key to this whole scenario, we must discuss it. Truly has been residing in Salt Lake City for the past year in order to escape the stress of Flagstaff. She is witnessing Christine and David's partnership. She is dating a man who shows up because he loves her mother and respects her kids, not because he wants attention. There are no procedures for David. David invites you over for supper without requiring you to sign a loyalty contract. Kody is at risk from this exposure to normalcy. The enchantment has broken. When you acknowledge that you stop accepting the kind of love that makes you scrounge for scraps, love doesn't have to be painful. Therefore, the atmosphere in the house did not change to one of joy when the gift arrived in Salt Lake City. Clarity took over. The box reportedly sat there. It wasn't ripped up. There was no rush to see what Daddy had purchased. They saw it as an intrusion. It was an outward sign of the manipulation trying to re-enter their tranquil existence. At this point, the story changes from depressing to empowering. The Brown kids may have felt pressured to take the crumbs in the past. They may have sent a kind thank you text to maintain harmony, to save Robyn's tears and Kody's anger, but they genuinely embody the new generation. She is a symbol of Grace Brown's development. While her father was away, the child managed to survive kidney failure. The infant was born just as the happy, huge family was beginning to fall apart, so she has no memories of it. Kody most likely tracked the shipment while sitting in Flagstaff. We are aware of his passion for logistics. He most likely waited for the call after checking the tracking number and saw that it had been delivered. He bided his time until the graveling. He awaited confirmation that he was a good father since he had made a purchase. However, the phone did not ring. There was no text. Quiet. And a storm frequently follows silence in the Brown household. Kody is not accustomed to being disregarded by the elderly. Because he can dismiss the elder boy's arguments as anger, he can deal with them. However, in reality is meant to be the one he can still shape. She is still that little girl in the cul-de-sac, in his opinion. He is unaware that she is a teenager who can watch the show, has an online connection, and reads books. The confessionals have been seen by her. He had mentioned her mother to her. She is aware of the reality. Salt Lake's silence wasn't only passive. Before the action, everything was quiet. At this point, the story takes a turn that has the internet in a frenzy. The gift wasn't actually thrown in the trash. It would have been simple to discard. Although it would have been confidential, it would have been final. No, returning the package is a direct declaration of war. The idea that Kody can see her whenever he wants is rejected. Consider how a package might be returned. It needs to be taped back up. You must visit the shipping center or the post office. You must wait in line. The return postage is your responsibility. Sometimes it requires work. Declaring, "I do not want this energy in my home," is a deliberate decision. We must make assumptions about Kody's thoughts on those quiet days. He was probably yelling at Robyn while pacing the floor. Robyn was probably telling the story she normally tells. They are preventing us from seeing her. She is being poisoned by codeine against us. They take advantage of each other's suspicions. They are unable to imagine a scenario in which a child decides for themselves based on their own observations, is essentially only a pawn to them. Christine moved the pawn, therefore if she acts out, it's due of that. If she declines a present, it's because David instructed her to do so. Since acknowledging her agency entails acknowledging that she has evaluated them and deemed them lacking, they deprive her of it. The package's return represents the trauma's return. The emotional burden of the family was carried for years by the original 3 women, Christine, Janelle, and Mary. They made things go more smoothly. They signed Kody's name and purchased the presents. They offered justifications for his absence. To spare the children, they took on his rage. However, that time is over. The baggage has been set aside by Christine. She left. Truly doesn't have to bear it either, since she has left. Truly was basically saying, "This is not mine to carry," when she taped the box shut. "It is not my guilt. I am not responsible for this commitment. You own this. You keep it." And before we open the box in our minds, let's briefly discuss the purported contents. It wasn't merely a present, according to the rumors. A bribe was given. There are rumors that it could have been high-end technology or pricey jewelry. Kody employs this type of love bomb gift when he's feeling uneasy. He frequently engages in this behavior with Robyn's children. The mini bikes are visible to us. While the other children received scraps, we witnessed the extravagant Christmases at the McMansion. It was probably a test whether he sent anything really pricey. She owes him if she keeps it. He owns a piece of her if she wears it. It's a traditional control strategy. She is refusing the transaction by returning it. She is expressing that her love is not for sale. According to her, a relationship with her takes time, regrets, and altered conduct, not an Amazon delivery. We are now on the verge of the major event. The box crossed state lines again. It's a trip back to the gloomy, chaotic reality of Flagstaff from the new, contented existence in Utah. It's almost poetry. The package is going back in time too. Actions taken by Christine after she departed. However, it's not a wife departing this time. The door is being closed by a daughter. The strain in the Brown household must have been oppressive as that tracking number changed, indicating that the box was getting closer and closer to Kody. Sitting in that house full of priceless experiences, miniatures, and unpaid emotional debt, Kody and Robyn were waiting for a thank you that would never materialize, only to be met with the final insult. We're going to talk about just what occurred when Kody's porch received that package. The note that was purportedly attached to it will be discussed. Robyn reportedly broke down in tears, and Kody went into a wrath spiral that lasted for days after reading this brief but vicious note. However, we must first realize that this time was unavoidable. You cannot expect people to sit on the shelf and wait for you to pick them up after treating them like accessories for decades. Brown has really been observing. She has been gaining knowledge. She is acting now. The Brown family's troubled past is behind them. The youngsters quit playing the game, not because Kody changed. Before we can truly understand the devastation of the return, we must understand the sender's perspective. It was more than simply a cardboard box when it was taped up in Flagstaff. A Trojan horse was involved. The planning meetings that clearly occurred within the Churro Chateau must be examined. You are familiar with the routine. Kody and Robyn are discussing ways to take back control of the story while seated at the kitchen island that is covered in bills and supplements. According to sources, this present wasn't an impromptu display of fatherly affection. It was a desperate, well-thought-out PR stunt. Kody has reportedly been feeling the heat from the public, according to the rumors circulating about Flagstaff. He has lost the support of his fans. He is witnessing his relevance diminish as Christine and Janelle flourish in the harsh comment sections. Thus, the plan was straightforward. Give a present. If genuinely agrees with it, Kody may say that he is still a caring, involved father. He can argue that he is the sufferer of parental alienation if she rejects it. He saw it as a win-win situation, but he failed to consider the third possibility, which exposed the game. The internet detectives have been working overtime on this one, so let's hypothesize as to what might be inside that package. You hardly know your teenage daughter, so what do you send her? Do you send her a private message? Very unlikely. Kody is unaware of her favorite bands. He is unaware of the novels she is now reading. Without asking Robyn, he most likely doesn't even know her clothes size. One of two things was in the box, according to the widely accepted theory. The general bribe is the first theory. Consider it pricey but impersonal. A piece of jewelry from the same store where he purchased Robyn's pendants. It's heavy, significant, and not at all style-related. Or maybe the newest iPad, a traditional attempt to use technology to purchase love. The Disney dad method is this. You try to solve the issue with money, and hope the child is so enthralled that they forget you weren't present at their school plays. Kody has previously done this. Do you recall the mini bikes? He enjoys making big movements that are visually appealing but lack nuance. The guilt trip bundle is the second notion, and the one that chills me the most. According to some sources, the box contained more than just a gift. It also contained a framed portrait of Kody or possibly an old family photo from the Kodiak era when everyone was devoted. Imagine discovering, while opening a Christmas present, a picture of the man who destroyed your mother's heart staring back at you with that crazy smile, bringing back memories of a time when you were all under his control. It's a manipulation technique used to arouse feelings of remorse and nostalgia. Look at what we destroyed, it says. Take a look at what your mother took away. If this is accurate, the rejection he experienced was not only justified but also required if he had attempted to use a memory against his own daughter on Christmas. Regardless of what was in that box, it is impossible to overlook the affordability. I'm referring to the emotional cheapness, not the price tag. The discrepancy in resources must be discussed. We are aware that Solomon and Ariella, the tenders, lead prosperous lives because astute admirers have noticed clues in the backdrop of social media posts. They have toys, art projects, and unceasing care. Every time someone sneezes, Kody is there. However, a present is an afterthought for the original children. It's an item crossed off a list. It is a responsibility. Is intelligent enough to distinguish between a present given out of duty and one given out of admiration. She is aware that while he bargained over the price of Isabel's operation, Kody spent thousands on Robyn's colorful decor and the never-ending collection of items that occupy that home. The anguish of money doesn't simply disappear. Therefore, the weight of all those pecuniary slights is carried when a box arrives from Flagstaff. It serves as a reminder that she was never given priority. She was merely an expense that he controlled. Let's head to Salt Lake City now. The parcel shows up. It is on the porch of the house that Christine and David constructed together. Typically, there is a lot of laughter, cooking, and the bustle of a blended family at that home. However, the package's arrival feels like a chilly breeze blowing into the room. It's an intrusion. It stands for the turbulence of the past, attempting to contaminate the tranquility of the present. According to reports, the atmosphere changed right away. It was dread, not interest. At this point, David Woolley's influence turns into the story's unsung hero. David isn't shown yelling or hurling objects. We observe a consistent presence. He didn't give truly instructions. He didn't stop her from opening it. He probably took a step back and gave her time to think. And that's how a parent differs from a patriarch. David must support Kody. That contrast in front of her face provided truly with the security she had to decide. She didn't care that opening it would offend David or that returning it would infuriate Kody. She was unrestricted. The decision to return the package is the finale of this entire holiday tale. Now is the time. In both her actual life and the show, Truly Brown transformed from a supporting role to the main character. It wasn't an outburst. It wasn't a bratty teenager rolling her eyes. It was a boundary. Boundaries are the one thing that Kody Brown cannot put up with. Boundaries are offensive to him. No means I hate you to him. I wasn't saying I disliked you, though. She was saying I see you. She refuses to take part after realizing the trickery. Returning it is an active action. Logistics are needed. Could you really picture her entering that shipping center while being driven by David or her mother? It's a natural progression. It is the act of physically returning his influence to its proper place. The iPad was not retained by her. She didn't pawn the jewelry. She didn't burn the photo. She just wouldn't accept the idea that she might be purchased. The note comes after that. The note is said to have provoked a biblical-scale meltdown in Flagstaff. Several people have informed us that the returned box had a brief handwritten letter inside. 4 easy words. One cannot purchase love. Let that sink in. One cannot purchase love. It's a surgical procedure. It immediately addresses Kody's greatest insecurity. For the entirety of his adult existence, Kody has believed that his worth as a man is based on his capacity to provide, or at the very least, his capacity to seem to do so. He believes he is entitled to eternal allegiance because he provided a home over their heads, even if the women paid for it. He believes that he may purchase a relationship by purchasing a present. Actually shattered his entire worldview in 4 words. His money isn't good here, she informed him. Time, respect, and sincere connection are the only things that matter, she told him. Everything he is insolvent. The greatest insult is that the crate was supposedly returned unopened. It suggests she didn't even bother to see the scope of the bribe. Kody might tell himself, oh, she just didn't like the style, if she had opened it and then put it back. Or she already has one. He could explain away the rejection. However, an unopened box that reads, what's inside doesn't matter. Whether it's a diamond ring or a check for $1 million doesn't matter. The origin is corrupted. It makes his work absolutely useless. He becomes irrelevant as a result. Furthermore, Irrelevance is a worse destiny than death for a narcissist. He would rather to be despised than disregarded. Genuinely made the decision to disregard him as loudly as possible. The Instagram conflict started when the box was traveling back to Arizona, a long and lonely voyage. However, there were no gunshots coming from either side of the conflict. One side of the conflict was thriving while the other was collapsing. During Christmas, on a day when Kody was probably furious, a picture appeared on social media that undoubtedly shocked the Shira Chateau. The image was powerful. It was indeed David and Christine. They weren't forced to pose for the cameras in rigid matching attire as Kody used to do. They were at ease. They probably had unkempt hair, were wearing pajamas, and had sincere smiles. The dagger was the caption. Eventually spending Christmas with my true family, or maybe something similar. In the context of the Brown family, we must dissect the term real. Real is a powerful tool. The family she left behind is automatically categorized as such when this family is referred to as real. The Flagstaff dynamic is being referred to as a fake by her. She is confirming what we have all believed for years, that the one big happy family was a facade. Kody was the director of the theater production, and the actors were awful. She is now in the real world after the curtain has dropped. Something else was also emphasized in the picture. Truly's and David's body language. Comfort cannot be faked. It is visible in the shoulders. It doesn't appear tense at all. She doesn't appear to be waiting for someone to scream at her. She appears secure. David is frequently shown smiling like a man who is simply content to be there, either in the background or with a protective arm over Christine. Compare this to Kody's wild eyes, frenzied energy, and incessant demand to be the focus of attention. This post's comment section went crazy. The fans spotted it straight away. She didn't leave any crumbs after eating. One comment read. Another added, "Truly is the queen we didn't know we needed." Kody is going crazy at the public's approval of Truly's new life, since he can no longer manage the audience. Since the David factor is the antithesis of Kody's alpha fantasy, let's veer off course and examine it in further detail. Kody has been talking about patriarchy and alpha males for years. He expands his chest. Gloves are on him. The sports automobile is driven by him. He is a man. David Woolley simply is. He is a granddad. He is a man who rides motorcycles for fun, not because he requires a prop. He constructs stuff. He exudes confidence. It must have been a revelation to watch a man who doesn't have to yell to be heard or denigrate women in order to feel strong. She was deprogrammed. It demonstrated to her the lack of manliness in her father's actions. It was simply cruel. David reveals Kody's insecurities simply by being there, which is why Kody despises him more than the fact that he is with Christine. In every picture, Truly smiles at David. It's a vote against Kody. Now picture the moment when the notification appeared on their phones back in Flagstaff. Most likely Robyn noticed it first. She keeps a close eye on social media, searching for any hint of the campaign against her. She looks at the picture. She starts crying as she sees the caption, "Real family." These are not, however, tears of grief over a broken relationship. They are tears of annoyance at the way their story is falling apart. "Look, Kody, look what she posted," she says. "We made a lot of effort after sending that present." She puts an end to him. She douses the fire with gasoline. Kody doesn't see a contented daughter in the photo. He observes defiance. He perceives treachery. He observes David Woolley sitting in his chair, taking care of his child, and leading the life he believes he is entitled to. There's little doubt that the term parental alienation is circulating in that household. Robyn and Kody adore psychological jargon. They use treatment language as a weapon. To them, Truly's ability to think for himself is evidence of indoctrination. That Truly has eyes is incomprehensible to them. The fact that she recalls the knife in the kidney speech is beyond their comprehension. They must think that Christine, who is whispering poison in Truly's ear, is the bad guy. Because Kody is the antagonist if Christine isn't. And that discovery is too much for Kody's ego to handle. Enraged that their summoning spell was unsuccessful, they sit in a house full of boxes of unsold sister wives' closet merchandise while staring at a phone screen. They received a return receipt stating that access refused after sending a box to purchase loyalty. The timing must also be taken into account. All of this took place around Christmas, which is the most sentimental season of the year. The audience's memories of the Christmas horror are still vivid. We recall Kody insisting that the boys give Robyn an apology. We recall that he prioritized Robyn's children over everyone else. The script was completely turned this year. She didn't hold out for selection. She made her own decision. She decided to keep quiet. She also claimed the holiday for her seat by sharing the picture on Christmas Day. Kody expected everyone to kiss the ring on his holy day, but she took away his power. She made it about happiness rather than duty. The sorrow was probably prolonged when the returned box arrived in Flagstaff a few days after Christmas. The Instagram post had already spoiled the holiday, and now a tangible reminder of their failure has arrived at their door. You might as well include the return to sender stamp. However, I'd want to hear your thoughts. What do you suppose was inside the box? Was the picture manipulated, or was it a cheap bribe? Was it too cruel, in your opinion, for Truly to return it unopened? Share your theories with me in the comments section below. I went through all of them. Hit the like button if you're proud of Truly for standing her ground and ending the cycle. Not only does it benefit the channel, but it also demonstrates the algorithm that we stand by the women who made it through the dissolution of multiple marriages. You will be the first to hear if Kody or Robyn respond to this, and you know they are watching, so make sure you are subscribed and have the bell symbol enabled. This is the final message from TLC Flicks. The tea is only getting started, but the box has been returned.